If I wanted to round this corner, I could just come in. Hey guys, Brad here with Skyline Construction, and today we're going to be looking at a Ridgid oscillating tabletop sander. This is a sweet little unit if you're needing to sand, edges up. If you need to do, radiuses, things like that. This is a great little sander to have. I bought this specifically for one job I was doing quite a while ago, and it was really handy to have. It was actually for some drawer fronts that had this little radius in it, and we had to sand this out. This material is Baltic birch, and it was just a simple little drawer face that we used. So I'll run through the tool and kind of show you how it can change out from a belt sander to just a spindle sander, and just some of the functions. So for starters, we've just got an oscillating belt sander here. This is a stop, so if you're sanding something, you can come right up to it. And then if you want to take the stop off, it unscrews off the back, and then this can just pivot around out of the way here. So then you can completely sand right through. Now with this at the front, we've got the tension knob, which helps adjust the sandpaper because it'll want to float up or it'll want to float down. So with this knob at the front, this sort of stabilizes it and balances it out. The locking nut here at the back, this is how you take off the whole unit, and we'll get into that in a second. That's right here. So at the back, there's a dust port, so you can hook up a vacuum or a dust collector of some kind. And basically when you're sanding this, the dust will go down into the cavity down below this and be extracted through this dust port. And then at the back, there's some other parts here that we'll get into in a second. This tabletop will fold down. You just unscrew this. And this is just for transporting, and as well as if you had to come at it at an angle, you can set this to different angles. There's some presets. So, if you're doing like a 45-degree angle, you can come at it like that. So overall, super handy tool to have if you're a finishing carpenter. I set this up on my job site when we're doing a bunch of finishing in a house. And if you just need to come in and sand off, let's say you're scribing some casing to a wall, this is just super easy just to keep it nice and straight and just take off the material that you need to take off, as opposed to say using a block plane or a power planer. This is just a nice, easy, clean, square way to remove material. And the price point on these is actually pretty good. We'll put some links down below for pricing and purchasing and all that good stuff. So yeah, let's turn it on and I'll just kind of demonstrate. This is just a scrap, so we'll demonstrate. On the front here, we've got the on-off switch, as well as we've got some storage. So these are the different oscillating rubber sanding spindles, and then there's sandpaper that goes with each one. So this one's 1.5 inches. We've got a 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, and we go as large as 2 inch. The 2 inch is what I used when I was sanding this, coming in with that radius. It worked out really well. So yeah, just onboard storage. Then the rings down here, they correspond with each one of these. So if we were using this ring, it would go with this spindle, and so on. And I'll demonstrate that in a second once we get to that stage. So let's turn this guy on. And so you can just come in and you can just sand it right off. It just cleans it right up. If I wanted to round this corner, I could just come in See, now I give myself a little radius on that one. If I wanted to round that corner out, same thing. See? Not trying to get too fancy here, but that's just a quick way to round out your corners. So super easy, super handy to have. Like I said, if you had a scribe line here, you just come right in. With the radius on the ends, you can always come in like that and get your radius if you had to, or come in like this and just sand out your radius. But an easier way is to use the spindle portion of this. So I'll take this apart. The way you do it is you pull this release lever and then you unscrew it. So locking, it's reverse thread. So it's counter clockwise to take this off. We still need this, so we'll put that there. And then this unit just comes right off, okay? And then on the back, they've got an area to store this plate. So we put the base plate down, like so. And then this ring is for the 2-inch spindle sander. So we just put that in there. And then we grab the 2-inch and it slides right over top. So now you've got a very tight clearance there. If I wanted to use, let's say the 3/4, that one will go in like this. But then as you can see, there's too much clearance in the ring. So we got to swap out the rings, which I believe is this one. So again, we got a tight clearance, and then the sandpaper here, that's this guy. And it just slips on like that. All right, so now we're gonna put on the 1.5-inch oscillating sander. And the way that works is you put in your 1.5-inch ring, and then you put on your 1.5-inch spindle, and then your washer. And this washer keeps the sandpaper from floating up, because if you don't put the washer on, the sandpaper will float up. So you gotta have that washer on. And then your nut. And we're ready to go. So I'll turn this on. And then when you want to sand, you can just come right in. And so if we had the dust collector hooked up, it would be sucking the dust down through the hole. Right now it's just building up on top. But you can see how handy this is for if you're using like rings or inside curves. You can really get in there nicely. If you were to use like a palm sander or something like that, you would not be able to sand these radiuses out. So that's why I really like this Ridgid sander. I don't actually own very much Ridgid, but this one is just a pretty cool tool to have, I think, especially if you're a finishing carpenter. And then on the back, we've got storage. So if you've got the spindle in, this guy will just mount in the back here, and then just gotta lock it in place like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's got onboard tool storage and all that good stuff. And when you're done with it, you can just fold it up a little bit and slide it under your bench, and it's nice and compact. I really like this tool. I hope you do too. If you do, please give us a like, subscribe, hit that notify bell. Until next time, guys, keep on crushing it. We'll catch you later.